Good morning, Rabbi Boisai. Don't pay attention to those guys. Listen to this email by Yecheskel Shane. Suggestion for the artist. We need a guy with his tzitzis sticking out of his zipper. Maybe the loiva. I liked it. Only those two clowns okay, you got to be a clown for that. The power of status. Joined MDY Chasidus. He has a new thing. MDY Chasidus. Rosh Hashanah Daf Beis. I'm posting every day the link to watch the shir on WhatsApp status. I know that a lot of people are checking out this shir from time to time. I was introduced to MDY Chasidus by the one and only Yisrael Goldstein. So far, I convinced to come to the shir Benny Carr, Shlemi Fisher, the plumber from Borough Park, the famous Mendel Lerner from the Rally Hotel, Shia Spiegel, I think it means here, Moti Markowitz, Penny Taub, SI, Staten Island 81, they're all Hasidish, she says. Shimi Braun, Rosh Hashanah, Daf, Beis. Higher Belly Baruch Hashem has been over a year and a half already doing the Daf consistently since Masechtas Sukkah. Last year I immediately knew about no more movies on the plane when traveling, just the Daf. Not too long ago, I was sitting in the airport and another Yid asked me if I had a Gemara before doing the Daf, although I learned on a regular basis that answer probably would have been no. But it was such an amazing feeling to say, of course, it made my day. Keeps the fire going, keep up the great work. Ruben Tober, Freedom Trading from Montreal, Quebec. Oh, Genug with the rhetoric. That's the subject. I'm a secret chused admirer, and yes, I believe there are many more. I'm on my second cycle with the Daf, and take all the Dirshu tests. You hear he takes Dirshu tests, that's amazing. While I do not get to watch every share every day, I make it my business to follow along with the hak and the humor. Also, when I encounter a complicated daf, I make sure to watch the share that day. Your charts are enlightening. You have amazing spirit, blah, blah, blah. Thank you for what you do for the cloud. If it weren't for yesterday's email with Genug with the rhetoric, I most probably I would have just remained a secret admirer. However, I totally disagree with the writer. I and many of my colleagues do not have access to YouTube, and we are proud of it. I'm not bashing and judging that those that do. But be aware that yes, there are many of us without full access to technology. I run a successful multi-million-dollar company with over 20 employees and carry a flip phone and fully filtered tablet with access to emails and Torah anytime only. And my office computers are fully filtered with no access to news, YouTube, etc. Again, chazak in what you have accomplished through the internet, but let's keep in mind and credit those that refrain from carrying smartphones and having access to the web with much admiration. He doesn't want his name to be read. Yishkoyach. Rabbi Isai.
But I'm able to come to every day to the shir.
When you don't see him here, it's because you didn't get the text message that everybody else got.
So if you want me to know something, just call me up.
You got to call him.
What's your number?
Rabbi Isai. Finally, the Shnaim Mikra Ve'echad Targum Chumash, the MDY edition, is out. And is there for the taking. There are 500 copies, and whoever signs up and commits will get a free Chumash for the first 500. I also want to remind the Olam, the MiamiSiyum is going very, very strong. We got some good sponsors, and we're looking for more sponsors to make it affordable for the Olam. So cash in now if you're interested in being a sponsor. Tell them now because they're closing up shop for sponsors, I guess. I don't know if that's true, but that's what they told me. No, they want to know who the sponsors are so they can know what the price level should be. It's an expensive event. There's a full shmord. There's a steak dinner, great music, renowned singers, the whole thing. They want to make a big, nice party, but they want to make it affordable for the Olam. So if you're interested, let us know. Let them know. The Koilel is sponsored that may we always be able to support Torah and may the Torah protect us from any harm. The Masechta, Ein Sgula K'Torah Ben Tomechia K'Yakov Yalak, the Paras HaChodesh, Li'nishim Zechrya B'Moshe, Li'nishim B'tzlאל B'Moshe. The first Paras HaYom, Bentzi Senter in honor of my father's Yartziet. Q 137, B'schus Rafur Shlema B'Karav B'shul Meir Aryeh Ben Rus Na'mי. Dovber Emanuel, my father's first Yartziet, Mנחem Afrim Ben Chayim, and the bris of my first son. Both today. His father's first Yartziet and the bris of his first son, both today. Guess what the name is going to be? Jets Bocharim, in honor of the Lubavitcher Rebbe's wedding anniversary, we want Mashiach now. And the art month, the first month of art, is sponsored by Anonymous from Lakewood, Zuchus for his nieces, Shiduchim. Rabbi Isai, here we go. Yeah, we're ready to go? Oh, the guest, that's right. I knew I was seriously. What's your name, Tzaddik? What's your name? You're both from Australia. What's your name? Noam. What?
Noam
Heyman. And you?
Hadron
Ben Chaim. Both from Australia, but moved to Eretz Yisrael recently. In Yerushalayim. Oh, and you just reminded me. 2 and 3 years ago. But tomorrow is going to be the very first day that we're trying out a new concept, satellite location. There's a little bit of a snafu, so it's going to be in Kal Hasidim for now. Get on that WhatsApp list that I already started. Ask Yosef what the WhatsApp numbers, etc. And we'll update you when and where we'll be going. But tomorrow, very first day, tomorrow's the first day of the new volume. What did you say? 6:30 Shachris, followed by 7:15 live shir. Here's the Olam on Zoom. How you guys doing? Here, there's a beautiful picture. You have a couple Hasidim there. You have a couple non-Hasidim there. You have a couple Goyim. I see. Shalom Rand, that's what I'm talking about. Shalom. Yishkayach for putting me on the status. All the other statuses I know, I would call you out Barabim. Why not? You'd love it. All the other statuses, you could put this on your status. He has statuses, he goes around, hey, boy, say, look at this guy over here in Borough Park, he just jumped off the roof, here he is, da-da-da-da-da. And then finally, it's like, get your free Gemara. But he doesn't say anything, he just throws in the Shalom, come on, spice it up, get somebody, as if you care. Do it. Just like you did it by Sukkah Megillah. Okay. Who else do we have here? Tzaddik, what's your name? You want to say, what's your name? David Palmer from?
I just made Aliyah.
You just made Aliyah. What, to hear RBS? Oh. If you want a good song, you have this guy start. Let's go. You want to sing a song? He's thinking. Show him on him. Oh, no, there was like 2 going there. Okay, competing. Okay. Rabbi said, please don't start Nigunim. Reb Nachman has the schus of all Nigunim in all books in this place, okay? Let him, okay, fine. What else? Who else? We have any other guests here? Who? Oh, they're hiding. Miami guys. 3 of them. You want to say your names? You don't have. What? Citron? Related to Yaakov? The Yaakov? No.
We're not related, but we do know.
Okay, and you're from Miami.
Yes.
You're going to be there at the Siyum, or you're running away for Yeshiva week? Bezrat Hashem. What about you, Tzaddik, also?
What?
Yeah. What's your name first? Eli Cohen. Shalom Aleichem. And you? Fisher Klein. You're all friends and you all came together?
No.
You don't like him. You're moving on off from that guy. Great. No, you just so happen to be here today. That's very interesting. Guys from Miami just happen to be here today. Beautiful. All right, Rabbi Sai, look at this daf. It's the smallest daf maybe in Shas, one of the smallest. No, the next one. So easy. So here, take a look at this thing I put here. What are we going to be learning today? When is it? Yes. When do Chachamim decide that there's no such thing as hefker? That's question number 1 that we're going to be learning today. Hefker, we know hefker, everybody knows. You could take your object and say anybody could be zoich in it. It's hefker. Sometimes Chacham say it doesn't work. Now, we also have a case. We have 2 fruits. They're both tevel, meaning that nobody removed trumas and meiser from them. Now you're not allowed to take this fruit and use it as meiser for this fruit, or vice versa. Why not? Certain case. Now, what if a person took his field and was mafkir? He said, I don't want it anymore. And then, no, it was one of those places, as I told you, in America, you still have it till this very day, certain neighborhoods. When I lived in Chicago, people were offering me houses on the south side of Chicago for free. So basically, take it. We'll give it to you for free. And it's not worth even, like in Detroit, we had that back in the day. I don't know how it is today. The guy has a field, he makes it hefker, nobody wants it. So he takes it back. He's zoicha, he takes it out of the hefker for himself. What is he chayiv in terms of the fruit on the field? Does he have to give meiser for the fruit? Does he have to give leket shikha peya? What does he have to do? And here's a nice riddle, and it's a real riddle. What mitzvah, the more you try to do the mitzvah, the more you can't do it. If you try to do the mitzvah, you can't do it. I actually mentioned it a minute ago. Somebody said it. I heard. Shikha. Shikha means to forget. If you try to be mekayim the mitzvah forgetting, then it's not the mitzvah. The mitzvah is that you forgot fruit behind. Okay. Says the Gemara. So yesterday, we had in the Mishnah a story. There were two friends. They were taking a trip together. They're in the middle of the desert. And as friends are, they're in the desert on a long trip. They got annoyed at each other. One guy was mother his friend from him. He says, I'm never going to benefit you. You're never going to benefit from me. And sure enough, the friend came upon rough times. He used up his water, his food. He has nothing. His friend is about to die or whatever it is. Okay, let's say it's not pikuach nefesh. His friend has an issue. What does he do? How could he give his friend benefit if he made a neder that he's not going to benefit him, but his friend really needs water? So, as the Mishnah says, you take the food, you put it on a stone, and you say, this is hefker. That's the Tana Kama. Rabbi Yossi in the Mishnah says, that doesn't work. Doesn't work. Hefker doesn't work in such a case. Why not? So we had yesterday two pshat. Rabbi Yochanan says, the reason why it doesn't work, and this is what we're going to be focusing today on this pshat, the reason why it doesn't work is because hefker means, according to this pshat, according to this havamina, hefker means that I allow you to take that object from me, but I'm not releasing my ownership from the object. We always understood that hefker means I release my ownership, and then anybody could come and grab it. No, I didn't release the ownership. The ownership is still there. When you take it, then I transferred ownership from myself to you. So what does it help me to take my food and put it on a stone and say it's hefker? The guy's going to come and take it. Who is he taking it from? He's taking it from me. It's still owned by me. I didn't release my ownership. According to this pshat, Rabbi Yochanan says that the pshat of Rabbi Yossi is he never releases ownership. It's like giving a gift to somebody. Rava didn't like the pshat, and Rava said it's a gzeira of Beis Chayron, the guy that made a wedding and he wanted to invite his father, and he said, I'm being mafkir the entire wedding to you, my friend. Please invite my father. He said specifically, I'm doing this because I want you to invite my father. And the guy was annoyed at him. He said, don't play games like that. If you're going to make this hefker, I am going to give the entire thing to the Beis Hamikdash. And Chacham said, that's not hefker. He did it on condition. He said, only because I want my father to come to the wedding. So we understood that that's what he meant, and therefore it's not hefker. Over here also, it's not hefker because we're concerned people are going to make tricks. People are going to mess around with this, and therefore we said it's not hefker. Okay, this is a trick, right? He's in the desert with his friend, and the only reason why he's making it hefker is because he wants his friend to benefit from it. So I'm going to say, no, it's like Beis Chayron. I'm going to take away your hefker. It's not real hefker. Okay. Now we're holding 3 lines from the bottom of Mem Gimel Amud Beis. Tanya. Hamafkir Sodeyu Kol Shloisha Yomim Yochol Lachzer Boy. If a person is mafkir his field, he has 3 days to take it back. Mikan ve'elach ein yochol lachzer boy. Now, these 3 days that he could take it back, he could regret his decision of making it hefker, apply also when someone else comes along and grabs the field. So I say this field is hefker, comes along my friend says, oh, it's a beautiful piece of property in Israel, I want it. He takes it. I have 3 days to take it back from him. Why? So the Ran jumps right into it, and we can explain it here. We're going to explain it again later in the Gemara. The concept of a ramai. So if you had to draw a ramai, what do it look like? Think in your head, what would a liar look like?
A used car salesman.
Oh boy, I'm in big trouble.
That's what it would look
He looks like a good liar Jew. But how do you make him look like a liar, like a cheater? All right, I don't know if you guys are going to like this then. I don't know. He doesn't look like you. Here he goes. Nachman, what do you think about this picture?
Stereotype for me.
Ooh, racist. Oh, racist.
I made up that name, Pinchasio. I don't know if there's such a name. Okay, it's a Ramai. What's a Ramai? Why is he a Ramai? Because the halacha is, look at this pasuk. Uba Levi ki ein loy chelik v'nach le'imach. Who gets meiser? A Levi. Levi gets the 10%. But it's only on condition that he doesn't have a nachla with you. He doesn't own anything. He's not like a Yisrael. A Levi doesn't have any possessions. He doesn't have any land. But this piece of hefker, anybody could be zoichen. A Levi could also take this field. A Yisrael could take the field. A Levi could take the field. So a Levi and a Yisrael are equal in this case. This pasuk teaches us that any time that you're mafkir something, there's no meiser on it. So what does the Ramai do? This Ramai, he goes ahead, like Gershon used to do in Corona days. Remember Gershon? When you said that all your kalim are hefker? On the status, on the WhatsApp, all my kalim are hefker. And you kept them hefker, right? So anybody can come to your house now and take them, whatever, they're hefker. But in this case, he takes his field, he throws it out there and he says, this field is hefker. And then, a minute later, he grabs his field back. Oh, since it was a hefker for a second, the whole field, $22 million worth of produce, is potter from Meiser. He just saved himself 10% of $22 million, which is $36.70. No, I don't know. I went to Panovich. I have no clue. 10%. And therefore, he gained a lot of Meiser. He's a Ramai. So we said that what? That a guy that's, so the hefker doesn't work. It's not good hefker. But from here on out, he could have, it's a good hefker, it's a really good hefker, and he can't take it back. So let's stop for a second. Who does this go according to? Nachamon. Rabbi Yossi is of the opinion that as long as nobody grabbed the hefker, you could regret it and you could take it back forever. Why? Rabbi Yossi is of the opinion that hefker is not, he didn't release his ownership. So if he doesn't release his ownership, he always has the right to take back the hefker, even 16 years later. What does it say over here? After 3 days, ein yochel lachzer boy. He can't take it back. Now the first 3 days he could take it back. Why? Because it's a special takanas chachamim, because of this Ramai guy. But in reality, hefker works right away, especially after 3 days. So who's this going according to Rabbi Isai? Chachamim. So how long, the chart says, how long could you take back your hefker? How many days do you have to take back your hefker? Well, the Reisha says that after 3 days you can't take it back. That goes according to Chachamim. Why? Because Rabbi Yossi says they can take it back forever. Yes? Is that clear? So far so good? Okay. I think I have to, Doyle's looking at me like, what happened? Is it difficult? No, okay. Now, just to explain again, and why for the 3 days could you take it back? If it's good, Chacham say hefker works, then why can't you take it back after 3 days, for the first 3 days? Because they undid it. Hefker bezin hefker, sort of. And they said that for the first 3 days, your hefker is not a good hefker because we don't want liars, cheaters. Now, next part of the brisa, this is called the Seifa, top of Memdal and Amud Aleph. Omar tehesa dezu mufkeres liyoyim echad. He gave a limit to his hefker. He said, whoever comes for the next day could be zoich in it. So what is this called? Hefker lizman. If you look at the chart, hefker lizman. What does it say? Or, he put a time limit. L'shabas achas, for 1 week. L'chodesh echad, for 1 month. L'shana achas, 1 year. L'shavua achas, for 7 years. But he put a limit on his hefker. Actually, zachaba, if nobody was zoichen it, bein hu, bein acher, whether it was him or not, yochol lachzer boy. He could take it back. He could retract. Mishazachaba. Now, time out. According to Chachamim, what should be the halacha here? He made his field hefker. And he's waiting and waiting. 3 days go by, a year goes by. He did it for 7 years. He said, for now until 7 years, anybody that comes by and grabs my field, it says. According to Chachamim, is it hefker or not hefker? It's hefker. It's perfect. It's a good hefker. What does it say here? Actually, if nobody came by and grabbed it, he could retract. This is not Chachamim. Who does this go according to? Rabbi Yosi. We have a major problem here. How could the blue be Chachamim and the red be Rabbi Yosi? How could the Reisha be Chachamim and the Seifa be Rabbi Yosi? It's not consistent. You got to pick one team and go with it. You can't jump and say, oh, the Reisha is Chachamim and the Seifa is Rabbi Yosi. That doesn't work so well. If he goes ahead and he's Zaycha, if he's Zaycha in it, whether it doesn't matter who's Zaycha, him, somebody else, Ein Yochal Lachzer Boy. He can't take it back. Now, what? Oh, there's a difference between regretting and being Zaycha. When you regret, so you're erasing your hefker. That means you never had hefker. If you never had hefker, your fruit are chayiv and meiser. But if you acquired it from hefker, you're the original owner. You made it hefker. And nobody came along and took the field. And you came along and you took your own field. Now you are potter from meiser because you just acquired it from hefker. Now, since the svara over here, we're going to see soon, since he put a time limitation on it, he's not a liar. He's not a cheater. We could see he's acting not like a cheater. What does a cheater do? A cheater says, hefker, and nobody's looking, and he makes sure nobody's around. He's going, hefker, and then he grabs his field back. Over here, the guy's giving a limit. He's saying 30 days, a month, 2 years, 7 years. So he's not a liar. Okay, but we have a major problem here. What's the problem? By the way, you have here in Eretz Yisrael, there's certain groups, maybe I won't mention their names, people that don't take from, let's say, from the government. They won't take from the government. So how do they get a shul? How do they acquire land for a shul? The shul, they have to negotiate with the government. It's a big problem for them. What do? In this neighborhood. So they have somebody else buy it, and then somebody else is mafker it, and they pay that guy a lot of money to be mafker it, and then they take it from hefker. Okay, that's how it works. And many times they just build. Sometimes around the playgrounds, inside, over the whatever. Okay, fine. Then they go to America and they say, we didn't take any money from the government. Please help us out. The whole thing. Okay, fine. I've never done it. Just build like that. Yeah, just build. I got permission to build this from everybody. That's why there's a yeshiva here. From the country? No, from the people that own this land. Whoever owns the land. I don't have to get it from the country. Yeah, somebody owns it, right? All right. Stam, there's an interesting story. A Ma'aseh Shaya. And this Stam looked a guy lost a lot of money. A lot of money. All of a sudden he realizes that he lost a lot of money. He faints. Falls on the floor, hits his head on the concrete, and they call Hatzalah. It's a true story. Call Hatzalah, and one of the guys running to help him finds a pile of money. And when he finds out that this guy fainted because he lost a lot of money, he says, here's your money. Take your money. So interesting question happened. Halachically speaking, usually when it comes to money, a guy's miyayish, we learned, it comes to money, you don't have to do Hashavas Aveda many times. Okay, I'm not passing here, but just FYI. Money, there's no siman on it, unless there is a siman. Okay, but there's a lot of bundles of $100 bills, whatever it is. Okay. So now that this Hatzalah guy went and gave him the money back, he basically took his own money and gave him back his money. So maybe that Hatzalah guy has to pay meiser on his money. He acquired it for it's mean. It's hard to understand, but at the end of the day, he took money that was his and he gave it as a gift to somebody else.
The guy didn't give up on it. He wasn't miyayish.
That's not how it works. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. You miyayish. Money you match right away. Halachically, he doesn't have to give it back. Let's say in a case he doesn't have to give it back. Okay? L'saver soizen. Fine. Zog the Gemara. Huh? And the guy that gets it back 100% has to give Meiser if he was Miyash. Okay? Even though he gave Meiser yesterday, has to give it again. Says Gemara. Now, so there's just a very interesting round here. We explained the difference between regretting or acquiring from Hefker. If you regret your Hefker, then it was never Hefker, then fruit. You have to give Meiser on fruit. If it's Hefker and you acquired it, even though you're the original owner, but you acquired your own field from Hefker, you bought it from him. The Ran just asks, how could a person acquire a field from himself? And that would allow him to be potter from Meiser. How does it work? So, right? He's basically acquiring from himself. So he says a line, he says that since other people have the ability to acquire it, so then halachically, at that point where other people could acquire it, then it becomes potter from Meiser, and then he just takes it back and it's potter from Meiser. Okay. Says the Gemara. So we have a big problem here. Reish Rabbanan, Sefer Rabbi Yosi. What do we do? How do you reconcile the brisa? So the two ways to reconcile, very simple. Either it's all blue, everybody holds that it's Chacham, the Reish and the Sefer are Chachamim, or the Reish and the Sefer are Rabbi Yosi. So let's take a look for a second. The problem is, the Reish looks very good, that it goes according to Chacham. The problem is, how do Chacham fit into the Sefer? Right? The Sefer says that you could take back Hefker forever. Chacham says you can't take back Hefker forever. So if we can explain that piece, then we're good. In this case, Chacham are going to say you can make Hefker forever. Then everything works. And that's what Ula does. Rish Lakish does the opposite. He says the entire brayso goes according to Rabbi Yosi. We just have to explain how come after 3 days, Rabbi Yosi holds that you could always take back Hefker even after a year. How come in the Reisha, he holds only after 3 days, for 3 days, but after 3 days you can't? What happened? We'll explain it. It's the special reason why you can't take it back. But once we explain it, then it's all Rabbi Yosi or all Chachamim. Very good. What's the explanation? Seifa Nami Rabbanon. So here's Ula. Everything is Chachamim. Reish or Seifa Chachamim. Yachi Amayat Shaloi Zachaba. Bein Acher Yachal Achzer Boy. The Gemara just explains the question. If so, if the Seifa is Chachamim, why do they hold that you could take it back? You could have Charata forever. Shani Shavua Shana B'Shavua D'Lo Shchichi. So the Gemara is explaining over here that a person who does a special type of hefker, it's a hefker with like a condition. It's not like it's a condition. I am leaving my stuff outside of my front door for 1 day. Whoever comes takes it, great. Not, I'll take it back home. So that limitation shows hesitation. Yeah? Because I limited the amount of time, so I'm hesitating in my hefker. I'm not so sure I want to do hefker. Oh, you're not so sure you want to do hefker? So then you could have charata forever. The question is, why could you have charata forever? Chacham hold you can't have charata in hefker. The answer is because this is not a regular hefker. This is a different type of hefker. This is a hefker with a limitation. A hefker with a limitation shows that you have hesitation. Hesitation means you're not really fully committed to this hefker. You're not fully committed to the hefker, then you can take it back. Okay? Makes sense? Racham, it's good? Oh no, I didn't ask you to ask a question. Yeah.
If someone does take it, but they act so fit in it, even though they wasn't sure.
Yeah. Once somebody takes it, Rabbi Yosi says it's over. Everybody says it's over. Yeah. We're talking about that there's a certain limitation. Limitation, then you can have charata, but of course, he says it's hefker. It's hefker. Says the Gemara, Rish Lakish Omar, the Sefer Rabbi Yosi, Reish Nami Rabbi Yosi. I prefer to say that the entire brayso is Rabbi Yosi. Top to bottom. What does Rabbi Yosi hold again? Then no matter what, when a person makes hefker, he could always take it back if nobody was zoich in it. So why does the Reish say that he only has 3 days to do so? V'reisha hainu taima deloi l'shtakach toiras hefker. So what's going on here is as follows. We don't want to forget the idea of hefker. What does that mean? A person will think to himself, if that guy, the original owner, could always take it back, could always regret it, so how do I have this stuff in my hand? You know what? He gave me a gift. He gave me a gift. So we have to make a jump. You hear Rabbi say? He makes a cheshbon. He's thinking in his mind. This is only a thought. So his thought process. If that guy could always take back his hefker, he made hefker. But every day he could take it back no matter what. So the fact that I have it today is because he gave me a gift, not a hefker. So what's the nafkamina between a gift and hefker? Huge nafkamina, Benny, right? There's a big difference between hefker and a gift. Here's the difference. Hefker, you're potter for meiser. A gift, you're not potter for meiser. If I give you 100 pounds of potatoes, you have to take meiser from it. Hefker, you're potter. Matana, you're chayiv. In his mind, he's going to think it's a matana, and it's chayiv and meiser. So let's say he thinks it's chayiv and meiser. What's the big deal? It's a big problem. Look at this. You have two piles of fruit over here. You have fruit that's chayiv and meiser, the larger pile, let's say. It doesn't matter the size. You have a pile that's potter for meiser. You cannot take truma and meiser from the small pile on the large pile, and vice versa. You can't take from the large pile on the small pile. Let's think about it for a second. You could only take meiser from something that's chayiv and meiser. Something that's potter. Let's say I had a pile of meiser, of fruit, and I took meiser. Good, deraisa meiser. Now this pile becomes potter. Once it's potter, I can never ever use any of these fruit for other fruit, to potter other fruit. This is a potter pile. Okay, so the small pile over here in this picture is a pile of hefker. It's potter. If it's potter, I can never use any of those fruit in my grocery store, for my friend, or for anything else that's chayiv. Now what about the opposite? I have a pile that's 100% chayiv midaraisa in trumas and meisros. And I take some of the fruit, I take 10% of that, and I say I'm going from the red, and I want to make the green pile potter from meiser. Well, guess what? It's already potter. So what did I do? I just took a bunch of fruit and I said, you see the ceiling? That ceiling is going to be potter from meiser. It doesn't work. It's shtusim. I can't make the moon meiser. I can't take a pile of fruit that's potter from meiser. So I just took a bunch of fruit that's chayiv and meiser, and I said, okay, Levi, I give it to Nachman Seltzer. Here's the 10% that I took meiser on a pile that's potter. But guess what? That fruit that I just gave him is called what? Tevel. It's asur midaraisa for Nachman to eat it. If it was a good meiser, halachically good, correct meiser, then he could eat it. But it was fake meiser. I took meiser on a pile that's potter. The kitzer, bottom line is, I can't take meiser from potter on chayiv, and I can't take meiser from chayiv on potter. So this guy is going to be confused. He's going to think that his pile is the red pile, that it's a matana pile. And in fact, his pile is a green pile, it's a hefker pile. And we need to show him that he's making a mistake. And that's why we say this right over here. That he could have charata forever. That's why the Sefer, since he did a hefker zman, it's charata forever. I'm sorry. Yeah, the Reisha. Hainu time of the lishtakach toiras hefker. That's why it's limited. And we say that he could. Chachamim typically say that he can't have charata, but for 3 days he could. So that we know that there's a concept called hefker, and people should differentiate between hefker and matana. Ihachi asked the Gemara, afilu MDY MSP, nami leve hefker. So then why do you need 3 days? Just make your point in 1 day. Because of this guy, the Ramai, where is he? This Ramai. Is that an original name, by the way? I wasn't sure. I looked it up to see if anybody used it already. Benchasio. It's geschmack. There's a lot of Hasidim out there have no idea what just happened. Why does he have a long nose? Mom is racist. Okay. Sorry. A rabbi, you can't do 1 day, because that's what a rabbi does. Rabbi does a very short-term hefker, and he zoich himself. A rabbi doesn't do 3 days. You know why? If he has a field that's worth $1 million and he wants to save $100,000, the 10%, so he'll do a quick hefker and acquire back. But he'll never let his field be out there for 3 days. What if somebody takes his field? Now he just lost $1 million in order to save $100,000, or $900,000 in order to save $100,000. Doesn't work.
Eli, you're saying that it's hefker, he's put her in Meiser like Meiser Rishon, but you also said that if somebody finds something from hefker, it's higher than Meiser something.
Yeah, but that's a
10%.
yeah, but that's a derabbanan. It's a very much different. We're talking about the Erisis here, Karas, the whole mamish. Yeah, let's go. What? Yeah, it's different. I don't know what they did. I never did it. Tfilas Kalim. That's why I mentioned to Gary, you don't acquire it back. You take it into your house, but you never acquire it back. Because if you acquired it back out of hefker, now you're chayiv in Tfilas Kalim. You didn't gain anything. So the only way for Tfilah to work is to leave it hefker, put it outside your door and make it hefker, and never acquire it. Just borrow it from hefker. I don't know what he did. I don't know if they did it. That's what you guys did? You never acquired it back. You knew not to acquire. So you never kind. I don't want to be kind of this. This is hefker. So right now, today in your house, you have 500 kalim that are hefker. If I come to your house for Friday night, I walk out the door with all these kalim.
All you do is keep it out for about 3 minutes, and then you take it back in.
But are you acquiring it or not? If you acquired it back, then you were kind of from hefker, and then you chayiv in tefillah. This is not meiser. There's no pasuk that says that if you get it from hefker, you're not chayiv in tefillah kalim. That doesn't make any sense. Okay. Says Gemara, listen to this question. But the Raisa like have a hefker. You just told me that with the Raisa there's no hefker. In other words, if a person takes it back after the 3 days. Yeah, we're talking about in Chachamim. Chacham say hefker is hefker is hefker. So after 3 days, a person now, according to Rabbi Yossi, after 3 days, what's the halacha? A person can always take it back. Always take it back. So midaraisa, what happened there? It's not hefker because he can take it back. He took it back. A person left his field. Nobody acquired it. On day 4, he says, I don't want to do hefker. Well, what do we say? That according to him, it's too late. No, it has a 3-day limitation. 3-day limitation. But Rabbi Yossi holds midaraisa, there's no limitation. It's forever. But we limited him to 3 days. So on day 4, he took it back. Midarabanan, we said it's not hefker. But midaraisa, it is hefker. So midaraisa, we have a pile that is potter. Midaraisa, this pile is potter. And you're telling me that midarabanan is chayiv. So what's going to happen now? A guy's going to take from the pile that's midaraisa, not meiser, doesn't work to make meiser, and he's going to use it by mistake on the pile that's chayiv and meiser. And that is a big michshol. How do you prevent that? Again, the pile midaraisa is green, it's potter. But Chachamim said it's not potter. We're going to force you to take meiser from it. Okay, but a big problem can happen from that. You're going to use those fruit for real fruit that are chayiv, not fake fruit. That's the Gemara's kasha. Now, very interesting Ran, I just want to point out real quickly. Ran says, but what about hefker, bezdin, hefker? When bezdin take away your field, which they do in this case, and they said they take control of your field, doesn't that hefker work to make you potter for meiser? He says, yes, it should work. But Chacham didn't want to be nice to you. They want you to take meiser, so they left the chiyuv of meiser in there. But technically speaking, once Chacham make your property hefker, so then you already have that pasuk, asher ein loy chelik v'nachla. Then they already took it away, and it's anybody could acquire it, even a Levi. Okay, Daf Yomi Beis by Yankel Cohen, the official MDY MSP, l'schus being able to support Liminat Torah and to finish shots with the rebellion. Says the Gemara, there's a problem. You might take from the green pile to the red pile to the green pile. So the Gemara says, no, I have a way out of this. I don't allow you to take meiser from the small pile to the large pile. Here, take a look, just in case you forgot what it looks like. When you take meiser, make sure you're taking meiser from the green pile to the green pile. And from a red pile to a red pile. Never mix up piles in this case. Great. Meisvei, hamafkir karmoi. A person goes ahead and says, whoever wants to take my vineyard, you go ahead and acquire it. And in the morning, he went and he started working the vineyard. Back in the day, people were looking for ways to get out of the shikha and peah. Grapes are expensive, so how do I get out of it from giving it to the poor person? Today, we pay $360 to the organization that does lekha, I don't know how they do shikha for you. Lekha, shikha pay is relachayim v'keva, hashavas aveda, and all these they have a guy drop something from his pocket, and they come and they go, hashavas aveda. You could be zoich in all these misses, $360. Petach hamar, pinyan ben, the whole thing. Chasana, whatever you do. Okay. Says the Gemara. They have a guy steal and they give it back. Givaldik. I like it. Listen to this. This is one of the questions I asked in the beginning. You release your own field. You took it back. Now you're chayiv beperet. Peret means 2 grapes fall. You leave it for the poor person. I have a quick picture here. Elois means a very weak grape. It grows here, it grows there. On the right side, you see a healthy grape. It has a shoulder. It has a netef. This is weak. One grows here. Leave it on the tree for the poor. Ubeshikcha. This is the mitzvah that the only way you can be mekayim is if you don't have kavana. Because if you have kavana to leave something, then you didn't leave it. You didn't forget it. Ubepeya in the corner. So now you're chayiv in all these things, in all the matnes aniyim, and guess what? Upotter min ha-meiser, and you potter from meiser. You're chayiv in like a shikapeya, potter from meiser. Now, there are 2 psukim here. V'char mechaloi sa'ilel, uper kam mechaloi salakit, lo'oni v'lager, ta'azov oisam. You see that word ta'azov? That's in Vayikra, Perik Yutes, Pasuk Yud. Vayikra, Perik Chol Gimel, Pasuk Chol Beis, says the same word again. So we have a special limud for that. But the Gemara says, Bishlem Elulam, the Rabbanon. The Rabbanon K'tanila. We're going according, right? Go back here if we want to go back to remember all the way back. This is Ula. Ula says everything goes according to Chachamim. So we're going to Chachamim. Udoiraisa Katanila. Midoiraisa, this hefker works for the guy. It works for the guy, so he doesn't have to give meiser. But it doesn't work for like a chikropeya. So everything is great. El Rish Lakish. Rish Lakish says what? The whole brisa goes according to Rabbi Yosi. Now Rabbi Yosi says that I could always take back hefker. So if I could take back half hefker, am I potter min meiser? Why is it in the midaraisa you potter from meiser? Once I could take it back, I could retract my hefker. So I'm chayv. What happened? Think about it. The guy said, my vineyard is hefker. The next morning, he comes and he acquires it. From who? According to Rabbi Yosi, it's never hefker. It's still in his possession. Unless somebody else comes and takes it. So it's not real hefker, it's fake hefker. So if it's fake hefker, he's chayv meiser. Why is he potter min meiser? Omar lach. This is an interesting answer. Rabbi Yosi. Harabbanani. You're right. We have a machlokes brises. This brisa goes according to Rabbanan. Says Rish Lakish. I was just trying to figure out this brisa on the chart over here. That brisa goes according to Rabbi Yosi. You're right. But the 2 brises have no connection to each other. There's actually a machlokes in the brisa. This brisa says you cannot have charata from hefker. Rabbi Yosi holds you could have charata from hefker. Rabbi Sai, have a wonderful day.
Tomorrow you have a